I never thought I would say this, but artificial intelligence, of all things, played a role in my search for love. Not in the way you might expect. Not like some science fiction story where a machine builds a perfect partner or arranges a magical encounter. No, this was stranger, subtler, and in some ways, far more human. It all began with a simple question typed late one night into a chatbot. I asked, what makes two people truly compatible? I wasn't expecting much. Maybe some recycled advice, maybe a cliché or two. But the answer stopped me in my tracks. It didn't talk about just hobbies or surface similarities. It spoke about rhythm, the rhythm of conversations, the rhythm of emotional needs, the rhythm of how two lives move together in harmony. I read those words again and again. Rhythm, not checklists, not perfect appearances. Rhythm. And for the first time, I began to wonder, could a machine, something made of code and logic, show me truths about myself that I had missed all along? I started testing it. I told the AI about past relationships, about moments that had hurt me, about patterns I couldn't quite break. And it reflected things back to me. Things I didn't want to hear, but needed to. It told me I often confuse intensity with intimacy, that I ignore red flags because loneliness was louder than my better judgment, that I said I wanted stability but always chase chaos. Can you imagine how it feels to have a machine hold up a mirror to your soul? Cold, clinical, precise, and yet painfully honest. At first, I laughed it off. I told myself, it's just an algorithm. What does it know? But deep down, I knew it was right. And for the first time, I couldn't escape those truths. So I pushed further. I asked the AI to simulate conversations, to let me rehearse vulnerability. I tested out how I might react if someone pulled away from me or leaned too close. It was awkward at first, like speaking to a ghost. But over time, I realized I was learning. I was practicing how to be open, how to be calm, how to be honest. I wasn't rehearsing for some fantasy date. I was preparing myself to be the kind of partner I had always failed to be. Then came the bold step. I asked the AI, can you help me write a dating profile that shows the real me? It studied the way I spoke. It asked me questions. What did I value? What made me laugh? What made me cry? And then it created something extraordinary. When I read that profile, I saw a version of myself I barely recognized because it was so authentic. Not the mask I usually wore to impress. Not the guarded half-truths I normally told strangers. It was me. My humor, my quirks, my quiet joys. With hesitation, I uploaded it, and the responses were different. Not shallow compliments, not empty small talk. People engaged with my words. They asked about my love for quiet mornings. They shared their fascination with stargazing. They noticed the little details, the same details I had always thought nobody cared about. And then there was her. She wrote about one line in my profile. I find beauty in the ordinary. She told me how she loved the sound of rain against her window, how she noticed the way shadows shift in the evening, how small details matter more to her than grand gestures. Our conversation flowed like water. Hours passed without us noticing. It wasn't forced. It wasn't heavy. It was rhythm. That word again. Rhythm. And slowly, a thought settled into my mind. Did AI bring me here? Not by magic, not by destiny, but by stripping away my defenses, by showing me the truths I had ignored, by forcing me to be ready, finally ready for real love when it stood in front of me. I didn't tell her right away. How could I explain that a machine had been part of this journey? Would she laugh? Would she think it was unnatural? But eventually I confessed, and she didn't laugh. She didn't flinch. She smiled softly and said, maybe AI didn't create our love. Maybe it just cleared the path so you could see me when I arrived. Those words, I carry them still. Because the truth is, AI didn't build our story. It didn't write the script. It didn't put her in my life. What it did was hold up a mirror and force me to face myself, to change, to grow. It was never the author of my love story. It was a quiet guide in the background. Now, when I look at her, when I laugh with her, when I hold her hand, AI is the last thing on my mind. Love feels exactly as it always has. Messy, beautiful, human. But deep inside, I know I might still be searching if not for that strange ally, that silent teacher. So when people ask, can AI help someone find love? I don't say yes or no. I say this: AI cannot replace the human heart. It cannot create chemistry. It cannot feel for you. But it can help you see yourself more clearly. It can strip away illusions. It can prepare you to recognize love when it's right in front of you. And sometimes that is enough. That, my friends, is how I used AI to find love.